Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern. Here to talk about everything professional wrestling, all the action inside and out, all the rumors backstage, and the juicy drama. Also, superstar news, injuries, contract updates and stuff like that. I hope you guys are having a great, Tuesday. It is a beautiful Tuesday night in Southern California. For me, wherever you're listening from, I hope you guys are, having fair weather, and I hope you guys are enjoying each other's company really, really well. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today on tap. Today we have our WWE Monday Night Raw review, and then we're going to talk about some NXT preview for tonight. And then we're going to jump on into my third segment. We're going to talk about WWE Bad Blood and the Hell in a Cell match that's kind of made it, kind of relevant, kind of prominent. The reason why people love watching, Bad Blood, you knew you were going to get a Hell in a Cell match out of it as a WWF/WWE fan. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about in our fourth segment, we're going to talk about Randy Orton getting a 5-year deal, getting his 5-year extension, which is pretty cool. We're going to talk about his contract and what the future holds for the Legend Killer. And fifth segment, every single Tuesday, we jump into my wrestling DeLorean where I take you guys in the past on this day, August 13th, when we talk about some pivotal moments that happened in the professional wrestling industry. Just something cool, fun, something cool just to talk about, you know what I mean, us wrestling fans. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind you guys to use this chat right here, the super chat, the super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. We love hearing from you, during the show, guys. Whether if you have a burning question or if you have a hot take inside the professional wrestling industry, or if you just have something that you've been dying to share, we are all ears here at the GSMC Sports Network. This show is about keeping the conversation lively, making sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts and questions inside the chat. If you really want to make sure your comment or question gets noticed and read on air in front of millions of people, why not use the super chat box? Why not use a super sticker? Because you guys are super awesome. Just hit the $ below the chat box, send in your message, and it's guaranteed to get featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel. Your support chats helps us keep the lights on and bring you even more wrestling content, the content that you love so much. We're so grateful, obviously, for each and every one of you watching right now, staying tuned to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Your support, makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let the good times roll. Send in some super chats, and together we'll make this show bigger, better, stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat is not your thing, we are still live at the GSMC podcast.net. Go ahead and hit the tips and donations link. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Give me some of your takes. Make sure you Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get this done here. All right, so let's talk about some Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was actually, it was pretty lively. It was, a lot of stuff to cover. So let's go ahead and dig on into it. So Rhea Ripley kicks off the show. It was pretty cool. It was a great promo by Rhea. She was engaging with the crowd, which was a really, really good, really good sign, showing that she's totally going to be a babyface. Pat McAfee said it, probably the best. He said, Rhea Ripley has gained the respect of the WWE Universe. And then, she was wisecracking. Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio showed up, and she said, "The knife that you stabbed in my back, Dominic. And I'm sure you hear this a lot. It was not deep enough." So that was pretty damn funny. I got to be honest. She said, so I'm a man that Dominic Mysterio said, I'm a man that deserves to be treated like one. Liv Morgan lets me, be myself, play video games. She gets me chicken tendies. Like, oh my God, it was I was like, dude, is this guy for real right now? Is this guy for real saying this? I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of cool. Uh, so then, they're talking trash. She said, Liv Morgan did something for me, Rhea, that you could have never done. It's helped me beat my deadbeat dad, Rey Mysterio. And Rhea was like, you know what? Like, I'm happy that you kind of grew up. You were, you held gold. You were a champion. But, you kind of had to go out there and kind of defeat your dad yourself. And, if you would have conquered that, that demon that's been haunting you so much of beating your deadbeat dad, I'm pretty sure the victory would have been, would have meant a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like she was definitely like at the same time, she was kind of justifying what she did during her time in the Judgment Day, kind of showing you kind of letting the WWE Universe in just a little bit there. Kind of you're like, yeah, honestly, I'm gonna own up to my mistakes. 1,010%. That's what the WWE Universe loves. That's what people love about a big baby face, which she's she's kind of heading toward. Damien Priest came out to attack Dominic Mysterio from the back. Liv Morgan was even trying to help, trying to help protect Dom, which was kind of funny. And then you saw, Carlito come out. Then you saw, I think JD came out later in the match. I'm not too sure. After the match. So then that's when the match started. It started Damian Priest, versus Carlito. Pretty much a match we all kind of knew coming. It was like a trap. It was a trap. Damian Priest easily, knocks off Carlito. And, leads to an attack on Damian Priest. Jaden McDonough comes out. Finn Balor gets the best of him for now. But then, Rhea Ripley comes out and they circle Finn Balor. Finn Balor looks like he has absolutely nowhere to go. Finds a way to squirms out of there. And then Dominic Mysterio, naively, like stupidly comes off the top rope, looking like he's trying to hit Rhea Ripley, which is kind of crazy. Damian Priest grabs him, catches him by the throat. And then once again, Liv Morgan saves her man. Kind of crazy, kind of crazy. All right, next you see Ivy Nile advise in a promo backstage. Maxxine Dupree to kind of stay in the back. You don't have to go out there. And she was like, no, I have to, I have to be with these guys. They need me. And then Ivy Nile was like, all right, then what's gonna happen is gonna happen. And right then and there, I was like, all right. So you have the Pitbull going heel, joining the Creed brothers, which is, kind of the right move. I kind of like that. She kind of really served no purpose, kind of being on her own, still being friends with Maxxine. That's going to be a cool little, a little feud, a little rivalry going on in the women's division on Monday Night Raw, which they kind of need. You know what I mean? Like, I'll get more into it, a little later when we start talking about it. So next we see an Uncle Howdy promo. Not entirely sure how to interpret this one, guys. I'm a huge Uncle Howdy fan. I love the Wyatt Six. I love Bray Wyatt when he did this stuff with the Wyatt family. But this one kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, dude, like, what is it? Like, I think I was lost. I gotta be honest, I was lost. And then like he was just basically saying, Uncle Howdy told Bo Dallas that the war must continue, and then Bo Dallas kept screaming over and over again, my life for you, my life for you, my life for you. And it was just, I don't know, just, a little bonkers, a little, it's a little far fetched, but, I guess it serves its purpose. You know what I mean? And next we see Kofi Kingston and Odyssey Jones obviously looking excited to be together. A person who was not excited, Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods looked conflicted. It looked like he was, there's never been a new member of the New Day. You know what I mean? And just because Big E, kind of fell off. Maybe there's some kind of territory there. And it's kind of funny how, like, WWE fans picked that up right quick. And then in the next promo, you had Odyssey Jones, defeat a jobber. I think the guy was Cora Jade's fiance or something like that, which is kind of funny. So then, Karrion Kross puts it out there. He puts it out in the world that Odyssey Jones is trying to replace, Big E, Big E, you know what I mean? And you could see like Xavier Woods wasn't really he wasn't really fighting it. He wasn't really, disputing the fact or like doubting it. He was like, you know what, like, I kind of get that feel, you know what I mean? Like, but it's crazy to break up the New Day. It's I think if they do break up, perhaps it could lead to a juicy couple of months. I mean, we talk about this podcast all the time. Sometimes you could have tag teams break up, go on as singles wrestlers, and it just becomes absolute trash. Right now, who's the Intercontinental Champion? Bronn Breakker. Xavier Woods really have a chance against him? No. Who's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther? Does Xavier Woods really have anything against him? No. Who holds the tag team titles? The Judgment Day, JD McDonough and Finn Balor. Can New Day possibly make a stab at that again? I think, yeah. I think, that'd be a great way. But I don't, I think it's to the point where I think the New Day has been around WWE for so damn long, that, they kind of have seniority where it's like, you know what, in terms of like, creative fixtures and, storylines and stuff like that, it's a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject because the New Day together is so damn good. It's so damn good. When they're clicking, they're funny. Kofi Kingston called the Final Testament the Final Testicles, which was pretty badass. I liked it. It was pretty cool. Um, so I don't know. It should be interesting to find out. Next week, it's a six-man tag team match. You have the New Day with Odyssey Jones taking on the Final Testament, Karrion Kross, and Authors of Pain. All right, so then we have Drew McIntyre. We have a promo with Drew McIntyre backstage with Adam Pearce. Obviously, he was told that CM Punk was not there. Turns out he was, which I will get into that. Randy Orton getting a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. That's once when Drew McIntyre brought that up, I couldn't agree more because that was on the mind of every wrestling fan. They're like, okay, all of a sudden now Randy wants to invoke that he was screwed over at the King of the Ring. Why couldn't this have happened sooner? And yeah, that's true. That's 1,010% true. Why did they have to wait for this? Why did they have to bring a SmackDown superstar in to challenge Gunther? It's yeah, I that was kind of a hole in the plot on Monday Night Raw that I was, kind of like, all right, I wonder when they're going to address this. I wonder when they're going to address this. I wonder when they're going to address this. And then it just never kind of came around, and I was like, man, I can't believe they're not going to address this. And then it took a promo by Drew McIntyre backstage to bring it up, and it's kind of crazy, but it's true. It's true, 1,010%. Next, we see American Made take out American Alpha due to the Ivy Nile heel turn. It was pretty crazy. Maxxine Dupree was stretched across the announce table, and she was just writhing in pain. There was a point where I think it was after the match where Michael Cole and Pat McAfee were like, "Can we get some help out there?" And they kept talking about the next thing that was going to happen, and you just see Maxxine Dupree on the table. She's like, ah! Like it just looked kind of, I don't know. I kind of chuckled a little bit. I was like, dude, okay, that was kind of funny. You know what I mean? Maybe sold that way too much there, but I don't know, it was kind of crazy. So American Made gets a W on the board. But before the match, you saw Oba Femi, the NXT North American champion, inside the crowd. Obviously, he has an open challenge tonight on NXT. Hinting that Otis is going to be the guy. 1,010%. Can't wait to see that match tonight. We got two big guys, two big Goliath behemoths of a men. Should be pretty badass. Next, you see that WWE SmackDown is coming to the USA Network September 13th, on the US on the network. So, it's kind of fitting that they're probably, kind of, mixing stars a little bit. My best bet is, maybe, just maybe, you kind of have an announcement where Monday Night Raw and and the SmackDown kind of collaborate a little bit. You're gonna have the Netflix move January something, but the beginning of January, and you're gonna have like a solid 3 months. No, yeah, no, three. You're gonna have like a solid 3 months where you could, I don't know, you could just play around with some things. You can, you could, I think that they're going to redraft 1,010%. They're going to definitely redraft the beginning of January. So, because usually the WWE draft is in April, kind of mimicking the NFL draft and stuff like that. But, now that Fox is not included with the WWE no more, and you kind of see it all. Like I watched the Colin Cowherd, the Colin Cowherd show, the Herd. I watch what's the other one? I watch not First Take. I'm not a huge fan of First Take. I watch Undisputed. I watch, Nick Wright, Chris Broussard. Oh my God, I can't even remember the show name. That's crazy. But whenever you see commercials for SmackDown, it just seems so old. It just seems like commercials they've been airing ever since SmackDown first came on the network about like 2 years ago. Like it's crazy. That's how kind of like non-existent. Like Fox is like, what? Like I guess we don't have a lot of wrestling fans watching on Fox here. Just well, during once when SmackDown is not on. You know what I mean? So yeah. Like I said, we saw Damage Control take on Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. Then you saw the Unholy Union disrupt the match. The match was kind of pointless. 1,010%. I was like, dude, like, why is this happening? I think it, kind of diminishes the women's division a little bit. It kind of diminishes this new this new faction that Sonya Deville, like they had a head of steam. Now it kind of seemed like they faltered a little bit. And then now you only have Io Sky and Kyrie saying the last two members of Damage Control who are not injured, but trying to serve a purpose within the Monday Night Raw roster. And it's just I don't know, it just seems like it's a dead end right now. They need to bring those two women's titles, the mid card titles, quick. They're super, super quick. I guarantee you that. Then you see Randy Orton come out saying that he wants to be champion. He wants to be a 15-time world champion. Gunther comes out, of course, saying that he's the screw up of the family. And to be honest, I was kind of impressed. You never really seen anybody like kind of punk Randy like that. Kind of left them speechless there. So obviously this kind of playing into the new persona of Gunther. Then of course you saw Drew McIntyre come out, and then they start going at it with each other. Then you just see Gunther and Randy Orton kind of disappear into the mist. And I was like, okay, like I don't know, that kind of sucked. It kind of overshadowed it a little bit. I was like, all right, I get it that you want to promote this badass rivalry. You wasted the Money in the Bank briefcase on it, and now you have these guys interrupting a promo for Bash at Berlin. Like, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. I think they're doing too much. The Miz lost to Bronson Reed. Poor R-Truth was the victim. Got attacked by Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed is projected to be suspended by Adam Pearce. Bronn Breakker defeated Sami Zayn in sudden death. They were tied 1-1. Sami got the first, but you saw the spear at the end. So, off the top rope, and then bam, down goes Sami Zayn. And still WWE Intercontinental Champion Bronn Breakker. All right, so now we're going to move on to our second segment. We're going to talk about some NXT preview. Obviously, it's airing right now. I got it taped right now. I have not checked a single shred of social media, so I can't wait to give it a gander. So, but just go ahead and sit tight. We're going to get into it as after this break. So hey, stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign. A sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign. A sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign. A sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern. Here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE Monday Night Raw review, and now we're going to talk about our WWE NXT preview. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and use this awesome super chat, these super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. So I absolutely love hearing from you guys during the show. So whether if you have a burning question or a hot take or a hot opinion in terms of professional wrestling industry, or just something you're dying to share, we are all ears. This show is about keeping the conversation going, keep it lively. We want to make sure your voice is part of the mix, so don't be shy. Drop your thoughts in the chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets noticed, why not use that super chat box? Just go ahead and hit the $ below the chat box, send in your message, and it's guaranteed to get featured on the show in front of millions of people. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel. Your super chats help us, help us keep the lights on, so to speak. Bring you even more awesome wrestling content that you love so much. We are so grateful for each and every one of you guys. Love you guys 1,010%. Who joins us here. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let the good times roll. send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you are super awesome. And together we will make this show bigger, better, and stronger than ever. And if the super chat is not your thing, we also have the GSMCpodcast.net. Go in and click that link, hit up that tips and donations link, and just tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show, and also follow the show, follow the network, and just subscribe to the GSMC Sports Network, guys. I guarantee, give it the Eric Rodriguez guarantee that you will never, ever regret it. All right, before we get on to our NXT preview, we got some chats here I want to address. Got the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Mazzano. I'm making a prediction. I'm honestly thinking Oba Femi is the next Paul Heyman guy. Ooh, that'd be pretty interesting, and not Bronn Breakker. Most likely, sorry. Most fans are thinking based on that one segment that he had with him during his match with Melo. That's I think that could be true. Oba Femi though, that like he's a dog. Like if he debuts on the Raw or SmackDown roster, he could very much be a Paul Heyman guy. But like with Roman Reigns coming back to the bloodline and Paul Heyman, being embarrassed, being just, discombobulated, being destroyed by Solo Sikoa and his band of thugs. I don't think he's gonna let that go too lightly. I know he wants retribution. He's gonna hang with Roman. That's my opinion. I think he goes back with Roman to do that. With NXT moving to the CW, is there a possibility that we'll see NXT level up, follow them, and be the show in the time slot before them to show the future of NXT? That would be interesting. That would be interesting, 1,010%. It'd be kind of like a pre-show to the show, but then you can have NXT superstars from Level Up. You can have them, drafted or promoted to NXT because NXT is planning on being its own entity. But the superstars are still eligible for the draft. So that would be, honestly, I think that'd be a pretty good money idea right there. And also with Dakota Kai injured again, I'm honestly thinking what happens, with Julia's debut as a new member of the main roster for Damage Control. That's a good idea. I could definitely see that happening with WWE. Julia is a dominant superstar. Damage Control. You have Asuka out. You have you got Bailey was kicked out before WrestleMania 40, and now Dakota Kai. I thought they were kind of heading toward kind of like a babyface / heel kind of thing. But Julia debuting, that'd be pretty badass. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then, did you see after Raw, they posted a video on WWE YouTube channel that Randy confirmed that he resigned with the company? I have not seen that. I have not seen it. I'm definitely going to check that out though, because that's 1,010%. That's concerning. Randy Orton, like we're going to talk about his contract status right now. So that's something that, definitely going to try to keep tabs on as we kind of come moving forward. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some NXT. NXT, it's Tuesday night, so that means we're going to get some NXT action tonight. We're going to find out why Wes Lee shockingly betrayed the Rascals. I didn't think it was a good idea. I thought, having them together with this new collaboration between TNA Impact and between WWE NXT, I thought it was great to have these three guys together. I thought these guys were going to go, at least until they got to the CW. Maybe that's when they probably should have, broke them up a little bit. That would have been, pretty great. But they were just so fun to watch. They were so damn fun to watch. Wesley looked happy. He looked, he was electric inside the ring with Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel. But now you kind of see him on his own again, and like I said, like I don't understand what he's trying to do. He's a heel. He's a heel, but for what reason? I guess is what I kind of want to think about, because there's no way in hell he could be the Heritage Cup champion. There's no way in hell he can't even challenge Oba Femi anymore. And he can't beat Ethan Page, which would, it'd be interesting. A match between those two, 1,010%. I think they actually do have some history over on TNA, but I don't know. Maybe a little premature, for my liking. Next, we see Chase U challenge Nathen Fraser and Axiom for the NXT Tag Team titles. Rich Holland and who's that other guy? Duke Hudson. Andre Chase has normally teamed up with Duke Hudson, but Rich Holland is the one that lost. Oh, I think it's Andre Trace. Andre Chase. I don't know why I wanted to mix those two words together. I blame my dyslexia. But it's I think it's gonna be a good match. It's gonna be a good match. All in all, I've doubted Nathen Fraser and Axiom before all the time. Recently started rooting for them, and I'm like, you know what? I actually do not want these guys to break up anymore. Is this what it's gonna take for Rich Holland to finally make to finally get everybody like Duke Hudson. Obviously, he has the trust of Thea Hale. I don't know. It's just like this storyline could go anywhere tonight. To be honest, like you can have Rich Holland be the reason why Chase U falters. You could, have Rich Holland, serve a purpose. You know what I mean? Or maybe he's trying to do something with Pete Dunne with on NXT. That could happen as well because Pete Dunne is back on NXT. Back and forth from Monday Night Raw. So that could possibly be a heavy possibility. But whatever happens, I've grown to like this team of Nathen Fraser and Axiom, your NXT World Tag Team Champions. Next, we're going to see Otis. Otis vows to answer North American Champion Oba Femi's Open Challenge. I like it. I like Otis's. I like his determination. I like his attitude that he wants to step up. He wants to prove that that Alpha Academy without Chad Gable could be, just as good as what, they were when he was there. They need that anchor. I think maybe the Creed brothers, I don't know if they, necessarily get involved, but I, I think this is going to be one of those matches where you're going to see potential. You're going to see Otis have the potential, maybe almost defeat Oba Femi for that NXT North American Championship, but kind of come up short. One of those matches, one of those matches where even if when you lose, you kind of win at the same time. Proving that Otis is a formidable athlete, a formidable contender within the WWE Monday Night roster. Because right now the Alpha Academy, like they're hurting right now. They're hurting. Like Akira Tozawa, also Maxxine Dupree. Ever since Chad Gable kind of left them for dad turned heel and stuff like that, like it's not it that was a huge reason why I was a little skeptical about Chad Gable turning heel. I was a little skeptical because I was like, all right, now you kind of had this faction come together. And now what's going to happen to these guys? Like, you know what I mean? Like Maxine Dupree is a great athlete. Akira Tozawa, if WWE kept the Cruiserweight Championship, he would, be a damn good Cruiserweight champion. Otis, part of Heavy Machinery, but then he turned on his man Tucker. Money in the Bank lost the Money in the Bank. The match against the Miz, like it just, I don't know, all this bad luck and stuff like I don't really see why. Another example of why breaking up a tag team just seemed kind of silly instead of keeping them together. Heavy Machinery was actually pretty damn good together. So let's break them. You know what I mean? But tonight could be interesting. Tonight could be very much interesting. Otis is fighting for a new perspective in terms of his his character and stuff like that. Next, we have Tony D'Angelo defends his NXT Heritage Cup Championship against the North Quarter Catch Crew's Charlie Dempsey. I feel good about this match for Charlie. I think this is going to be a great way for him to bring the Heritage Cup Championship back. This is going to be a good way for Tony D'Angelo to, and I'm not trying to trash on the Heritage Cup Championship at all, but I think he's a main carder. I think he's like a heavyweight. He deserves to be fighting for the NXT Championship or the North American Championship. Last week on NXT, you kind of saw him rudely interrupt Oba Femi's, promo backstage at the end of the show. So, that may be like a foreshadow. I thought he was going to answer that open challenge. Well, obviously he can't because he has a match tonight. But I think it's looking pretty damn good. I think the North Quarter Catch Crew needs this Heritage Cup. I think they need to go over to TNA and defend it. Kind of, because you had Jordan Grace come over with the Knockouts Championship. Like, they weren't going belt for belt, but I don't know. It just seemed kind of cool. You know what I mean? So, that could damn near be a possibility. But yeah. Next, we have bitter rivals Eddie Thorpe and Lexis King will throw down tonight on NXT. Alexis King, I'm not a huge Lexis King kind of guy. I gotta be honest. I like Eddie Thorpe. This is obviously the second meeting between the two, or is it the third? this could very much be the third meeting between these guys. But at that barbecue where they were looking for a DJ, Alexis was like, "Oh, I'm the best there is. No one could, DJ better." But obviously, Eddie Thorpe used to do it, I guess, professionally. Don't quote me on that. I gotta fact check that. I thought I heard that before. I thought I heard that before on NXT. But like I said, so my prediction is I think Eddie Thorpe gets the victory, and I think Lexis King once again throws a fit. Last time he almost shillelied he hit his hand, and it was just it was an interesting take. I got to be honest, but I think this is the last time these guys are going to face off against each other. Being honest, it seems like a lot of repetitive matches don't really seem like to be going the right way. Let alone trying to promote somebody like Eddie Thorpe. I feel like Lexis King is kind of like in the rearview mirror in terms of that. But maybe he finds a way to kind of leech onto a faction, kind of helps, kind of has that kind of ride him to the top to get him an NXT championship title shot. That could possibly be the next storyline. Yeah. Also tonight we might see Joe Hendry address Gallus. He did defeat Wolfgang on TNA Impact on Thursday, so we could have a Joe Hendry sighting tonight. That would be 1,010%. I love Joe Hendry. Like, he's so damn cool. He's all over social media. It's crazy. You can't even go on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook to kind of see say his name, man. He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I just love that guy. He's so cool. So damn cool. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our third segment. We're going to talk about some WWE Bad Blood and a little bit about the Hell in the Cell matches. I'm going to give you guys some memorable Hell in the Cell matches that, kind of resonated with me. Obviously, if you had a Hell in the Cell moment, in your career watching professional wrestling, you're like, damn, this stuff's badass. Go ahead and drop it off in the chat. Tell me how you feel about it, 1,010%. So hang tight, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me back. Make sure you stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, from AEW to WWE to TNA to Ring of Honor to New Japan Professional Wrestling, at times also the NWA, the MLW, Stardom, whenever we can, obviously a lot of wrestling, a lot of professional wrestling to cover and stuff like that. But, it's my 1,010% pleasure to speak to you lovely people, my family, professional wrestling fans, from here to from sea to shining sea, 1,010%. All right, just going to reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE Monday Night Raw review. Then we had our WWE NXT preview. And now we're going to talk about WWE Bad Blood, but most importantly, the match, the signature match, the match that made the pay-per-view super exciting. Obviously, every main event on Bad Blood television, you had Hell in the Cell matches. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. But before we move on, I want to remind you guys to hit up that tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Hit up that super chat, the super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. Remember, it really does help the show, guys. It's our show 1,010%. Without your guys' support, this show would be absolutely nothing. We need you guys, and if you have a burning question, make sure you send it in. Hit up the super chats to make sure your question gets read on air in front of millions of people. 1,010%. Pretty awesome. So, we want to give you guys super thanks for being super awesome. So, just remember, give yourselves a pat on the back. We are wrestling fans. We are family. We are family, gosh darn it. So, let's treat each other like family. All right, so WWE Bad Blood is going to be the next pay-per-view after Bash at Berlin. Kind of like something that I think I've talked about before on this podcast. How once when they kind of have international shows, it's not really any titles do change hands. Of course there was the Liv Morgan and the Becky Lynch match, but that was like nearing the end of Becky's contract and stuff like that. And they have not come to an agreement. Becky was like, you know what, I'm gonna, kind of go into free agency and see, kind of what's what. And they're like, all right, Becky, like we respect you 1,010%. Hope you guys come back. Hope you come back. But now we have Bad Blood. I think it said October 3rd. I could be wrong. So the first ever WWF Bad Blood was on October 1997. Obviously, the Hell in a Cell is a signature main event for the pay-per-view. Like I mentioned before. But Hell in a Cell is definitely one of my favorite matches to watch. I got to be honest. Super excited to watch it. Can't wait to I like seeing blood. I got to be honest. I'm a old school attitude era like blood kind of guy. I like hearing them say swear words and stuff like that. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. It just adds to the drama. Like, you know what I mean? Like essentially, it is sports entertainment, the WWE, the World Wrestling, entertainment. So, it's kind of like a show. It's kind of like a show. It's kind of like a beautiful movie. It's kind of like a beautiful, well choreographed. Just it's art. The WWE professional wrestling is art, ladies and gentlemen. I won't let you guys talk me out of it at all. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's awesome. I love it 1,010%. This Bad Blood, it's rumored to have Drew McIntyre and CM Punk being in the main event for that Hell in a Cell match. I buy it here and there. I gotta be honest, but I'm not the biggest. I like both of these wrestlers on their like single terms, but them coming together, I just think WWE's just forcing it way too much. I know they want to make this rivalry. A lot of people compared it to Bret Hart against Shawn Michaels, and I was like, dude, like, okay, let's not get too crazy. But these guys are they're amazing athletes, amazing individuals, amazing wrestlers in their own rights during their primes. Drew McIntyre is in his prime, I feel like. CM Punk, getting a little up there in age, but he's still, kind of kicking ass and taking names. It's going to be a good match. I think all in all, it's going to be a good match. Usually the Hell in the Cell matches in terms of professional wrestling is the match to be like, all right, this match, this is it. After this, we squash it. We're done. We're done. We go our separate ways. Could that be the case for Drew McIntyre and CM Punk after Bad Blood? It could be. It could be 1,010%. Maybe perhaps if Seth Rollins wants to, challenge CM Punk because it's like, all right, now it's my turn, Punk. We got Drew out of the way. But then with that promo with Bronson Reed, who like completely destroyed his ribs and left him bleeding internally, he's gonna come back. Seth's gonna come back for retribution. I knew that WWE TV was gonna write him off eventually because he just didn't look right inside the ring. He was cutting mostly promos. He was a special guest referee. He did have his match against Damien Priest. But still to that, he just kind of looked like it was, Damien Priest dictating inside the match what was going on, kind of leading Seth a little bit, kind of babying those, babying I think his knees, right knee. Don't quote me on that. But hopefully it does eventually come to an end. But all in all, like if it does come to an end, it needs to end in blood, baby. If this is Bad Blood, it needs to end bloody. It needs to end with, and like CM Punk is used to this. Obviously, he's used to, reason why he left WWE was to go to AEW and try to, flex on his, creative, capabilities, 1,010%. but this is going to be big. I feel like, I was researching, it's, kind of crazy, but I've never really seen Drew McIntyre in a position where where he looked like not weak, but he just looked demolished and destroyed and stuff. Like, obviously he is the Scottish Warrior, and he's a big guy, so it's kind of hard to, make an example or, make him look weak as hell or something like that. But I think this match, there's going to be a lot of blood. It's going to be a lot of blood. This is WWE's first step into introducing blood again. I feel like, introducing the PG-13 Monday Night Raw heading to Netflix. So this could definitely be a nice little stepping stone, a nice little foreshadowing of what to expect from professional wrestling moving forward when WWE makes the switch. 1,010%, pretty awesome. But I want to talk about my most memorable Hell in a Cell matches. Mick Foley's one of his best Hell in a Cell matches. Obviously, he's been in a couple of them. We had No Way Out, February of 2000, when Cactus Jack, his persona, essentially his last chance against Triple H for the WWE Championship. The rivalry between the two was immaculate. It was amazing. It was pretty great. They fought at WrestleMania. They fought at No Way Out. They fought at the Royal Rumble in a street fight. And these guys just loved going at it. They got to the point where I think Triple H made this comment where he said Mick Foley's like a floater inside the toilet where you even though when you try to flush him, but he never goes down. So I thought that, I'm definitely I'm distinguishing remembering that. And it was just funny as hell. So, definitely one of the matches of the year. Mick Foley and Triple H put on a banger at No Way Out in 2000 to call their rivalry not quits, but just kind of end it for a little bit there. Next, we have The Undertaker takes on Triple H with the special guest referee, Shawn Michaels. This match was really awesome, and I'm going to tell you why. That was WrestleMania 28. It was an epic Raw, gotta be honest. It was kind of an ending of an era. It was after the match where, I think I think Triple H was carried off, and then they all three look back, take the last look at the WWE Universe, and kind of look at each other like, you know what? It's out of our hands now. It's up to these new guys. John Cena was ending, kind of at the end of his career. Batista was, ending toward his prime. Also, Randy Orton consistently injured. Edge, I believe Edge was retired at this time. Don't quote me on that. But it was just, I don't know, it was just so perfect. It was a great way to end an epic era. Three Attitude Era guys right there. The last Attitude Era Hell in a Cell happened at WrestleMania 28. The Phenom against the Cerebral Assassin with the special guest referee, Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. So one of my favorite Hell in a Cells. Another one was the very first Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood in October 1997. You had, Shawn Michaels taking on the Phenom, The Undertaker. The Undertaker's been in there. This is kind of like his home turf here. Kind of crazy. But you also saw the debut of Kane. I remember, Vince McMahon. They're like, everyone was like, "Who the hell is that?" Paul Bearer comes out, and he's like, "Oh, that's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Kane." And Kane comes out. The fans are shocked. The fans are in. It's chaos because they're fighting all over the cell. Shawn Michaels is a bloody mess, and then you had Kane come out and he rips off the door of the Hell in a Cell, coming after his brother, The Undertaker, who lit him on fire, and burns him, and it was epic. It was epic, and then the way he stood, toe to toe with The Undertaker, just made it so much cooler. Because at that time, The Undertaker was just like, he was kind of like this guy. He was kind of like the Bray Wyatt of the promos. Obviously back then, stuff was a little more scarier. But nowadays it was like, oh, really? You call that scary? But back in the day, The Undertaker, the Phenom, he was essentially like this horror movie, like this sporadic film, kind of, this character. And he'd, come out from under the grave. He'd fight in buried alive matches, casket matches. I think he even fought in an Inferno match. And then it was just, I was just crazy. But it was awesome to see Kane get his debut as well. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker absolutely tore the roof off that joint. It was, 1,000%. It was awesome as hell. One of my favorite matches. One of my favorite Hell in the Cells. Another one, I have the Triple H taking on Batista, the Animal, Batista Vengeance of 2005. This was a very, very good Hell in a Cell match. Bleacher Report calls it the best Hell in a Cell match because you saw the war between Batista and Triple H. Obviously they were old Evolution teammates. They screwed over Randy Orton. And then once when Triple H was starting to abuse the Nature Boy Ric Flair, then you saw Batista get angry. You saw Triple H, abuse his right hand man, his muscle, the Animal Batista, and then essentially you saw him put Batista over, and this was huge. This started off. This was the reason why Batista was a really really big wrestler. He came out of Evolution. He came out when he came onto the scene. He was just like this big buff guy. I was like, oh, what the hell can this guy do? And then the fans warmed up to him. And then it was a possibility. WWE creative was like, all right, let's give it a shot. So then they had, this feud between Triple H and Dave Batista. And then, Batista rocked it. This match was amazing. Definitely one of the best Hell in a Cell matches I have ever seen. I like Triple H is obviously in my Mount Rushmore for kicking ass, but he's also on my Mount Rushmore for, putting over talent. And he put over Dave Batista in this match, 1,010%. So, definitely got to respect Triple H in that aspect. Of course, when you think about the Hell in a Cell, you don't think about the very first Hell in a Cell match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. No, no, no. You think of this crazy son of a Mick Foley, Mankind, being hoisted, being thrown off the edge of the Hell in a Cell, falling through the announce table. Oh my God, I think Jim Ross was like, oh, he's dead. He's dead. He might be broken in half. And then, oh my God. And then they carry him off in a stretcher. The match is presumably over. They wheel Mick Foley up the ramp. The crazy SOB comes down. He just has, I think he knocked his tooth out. He's bleeding. He's coughing up blood. And he comes, and then, it was epic. It was for something like no one's ever seen before. The Undertaker still standing tall, up on top of the Hell in a Cell. And, and then and then he got thrown through the cell. Then he was thrown through the cell, and I think it was on thumbtacks as well. It was definitely a prominent moment within the Hell in a Cell. Definitely love that, 1,010%. Just my Mankind came out first, and then the Undertaker came out. I think it was Michael Hayes. He was like, oh, he's daring the Undertaker to climb up. He's daring him to start the match. Like, I don't even think that match really happened inside the ring too much. I think they're mostly outside beating the holy hell out of each other. It was cool as hell, but definitely love that match. And another match, it's not one of the best and definitely not one of the most favorites in terms of WWE Hell in a Cells, but The Fiend versus Seth Rollins. I gotta be honest, I thought that was a great Hell in a Cell. Thought that was the dawning of this new character that is The Fiend, and he fought against. This was kind of like prime Seth Rollins when he was doing his thing as the WWE champion. So I thought that was a pretty good Hell in a Cell. All right, guys, do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about Randy Orton signing a 5-year extension. We're going to talk about his contract. We're going to talk a little bit about where his career could possibly head, possibilities. So hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern, here on the GSMC Sports Network. Talk about professional wrestling, the thing we love so damn much. It's kind of reiterate what we talked about. We had our WWE Monday Night Raw review. We had our WWE NXT preview. Then we talked a little bit about WWE the Bad Blood's potential main event between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Then we talked about some of my top memorable Hell in the Cell matches. It was pretty cool. So make sure you go in and check out some of that and leave your opinion with comments. Make sure you Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into our next segment. We're gonna talk about we're gonna have some Randy Orton talk here. All right, 1,010%. Let's do it. So you saw on Monday Night Raw how Randy Orton, Gunther, whose promo was cut short because of the CM Punk Drew McIntyre thing, but I thought this was a great look for Gunther. Definitely makes him look very strong. Makes him look so strong. He makes him look more over than Randy at this point. Which I think it was Michael Cole who brought up the stat that during his tenure in WWE, Gunther 75% of the time has held a major title, and it's that's just Gunther. That's just something to be expected. He's impressive as hell. Obviously, future of the WWE, whether you like it or not. He's a little big. He's a little, he's a little rough sometimes, but he puts on great matches. He puts on great matches, 1,010%. So, I love Gunther. I think he's, I think he's amazing. I do not think he's going to lose to Randy at Bash at Berlin because this is Gunther's. This is like his hometown. This is his shiz. He's probably gonna have family over there. This is like WrestleMania. Every single time the WWE hosts an event outside the United States, like you saw Backlash at France, or you saw Glasgow, Scotland host Clash of the Castle. Then you saw King and Queen of the Ring and Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and now you have Bash at Berlin. All these guys, they think of it like this is like their WrestleMania, because they never really had big WWE PLEs outside of the United States. So this is, I think this is cool. 1,010%. I love that. So Randy Orton is looking to become the 15-time world champion. He signs a 5-year contract in 2019 and now signs another that runs through 2029. He's had lingering back issues that that's pretty crazy because he has had spinal fusion surgery, which caused him missing half of 2022 and almost half of all of last year. So that's obviously something that comes into part. But he could be heading toward like kind of like a Brock Lesnar, like a part-timer kind of thing, which would fit for Randy. I can see that. I think I read that somewhere, but I don't know, it just seemed like I don't know. It just seems so perfect. Randy Orton, like he is getting up there, 1,010%, but he could still carry the company. He could still be that main guy. He could still, if he wants, turn into a heel and hold the championship as a heel, or he could be a babyface and hold the championship as a babyface, and no one's gonna tell the difference. Because that's something Randy Orton does better than any other wrestler within the professional wrestling industry, AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA, Impact, is that he goes out there and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to do me. We'll go out there, I'm going to do me. If I make enemies, then I make enemies. If I make fans, I make fans. If you like it, cool. If not, suck it. You know what I mean? Like, which is badass. That's cool. He's the ultimate badass, man. I'm just kidding. No, but I love Randy Orton, the legend killer. I would hate to watch a WWE without Randy Orton, but I know that's in the foreseeable future, which is kind of crazy. But Randy Orton claimed to retire when he's 50. He'll be 49 in 2029. So that kind of ends up, kind of to his man of his destiny there. Kind of crazy. Orton has confirmed a contract extension with the Spanish sports outlet Marca, Marca, that he's extended. It's true. It's true. He is going to be with the WWE for 5 more years. Obviously, as WWE fans, we hope that it's a long, healthy run. Oh God, I hate it when people sign and then they get injured. I hate that. Sucks. But there's a bunch of contracts that no, not a bunch, but you had the LA Knight recently signed, Natalia Neidhart recently signed, and now Randy Orton. I wonder if Ricochet is going to sign. I would love for Ricochet to stay a part of WWE, but I think he would get more of a push. He'd be more of a like a main carder, not wrestling on speed on WWE Twitter or X or whatever you like to call it. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the speed. I got to be honest. WWE speed, kind of rubs me, the wrong way. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest fan. He was asked. He was asked by, in an interview, that he was asked about his potential for, the American Nightmare. And he said, and I quote, he said, I know you're alluding to Cody and his title, and maybe I'd like to do it later, but I don't think I should rush it. I'm going to keep doing this for a long time. I don't have to, I don't have to rush it. All I've got is time. All I've got is time. All the time in the world. As far as I'm concerned, I feel great, feel healthy, which is a good sign, which is a good sign for Randy Orton, which also, this is going to be Randy's last run in the WWE, and I just wonder what'll happen. What's going to happen with Randy Orton? Definitely one of the best wrestling superstars of all time. Definitely on a couple of people's Mount Rushmore. He's been 14-time world champion. That's impressive. I think he's won only one Royal. Has he ever won a Royal Rumble? I think he has. I think he has. So he's feuded with the best, like Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Triple H. He's feuded with who's that other guy I was thinking about? I, I think I said Hulk Hogan, right? But no, he's feuded with a lot of people, with The Undertaker as well. He's been there, he's done that, he's fought in the best. He's one of the best in terms of professional wrestling, in terms of protecting the other wrestlers. Like I think I remember watching this clip where Kofi Kingston, botched the move of Randy Orton, and it hurt his spine. And then, when you see Randy fight, at least when I do, like when he lands on his back, I gotta be honest, he does look in some sort of pain. And I'm like, oh no, this is it. This is it. Like every single match, he like babies and he favors that back, and I'm like, fudge. Damn, Randy Orton's gonna be gone for another year. But hopefully hopefully that's not the case. Absolutely would love to see the Legend Killer every Monday Night Raw. He told Gunther if he wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, then he's his new home's gonna be Monday Night Raw. But with the superstar shakeup happening probably in January or maybe sooner, maybe perhaps sooner, it can happen. Maybe he becomes the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Like I said, he can hold the championship belt and people not get pissed. You know what I mean? Like if he beats Gunther at Bash at Berlin, which I don't think he's going to, but if he does, I think it's like I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Like it's I know it was like a short title run for Gunther. Maybe you kind of have Giovanni Vinci come and screw over Gunther, or something happens. But this is a big ass maybe though. I don't think any of this is going to happen. I think Gunther's going to win comfortably. I've heard a lot of talk in terms of the professional wrestling social media, and just all over like internet articles saying that he has the potential of being a year champion. And I'm like, like you just recently saw, like, I don't know, you saw Seth Rollins being beat by Damien Priest. Damien Priest, this whole Judgment Day drama, and then he loses the title. It's just I don't know. I think the longest reign that he probably could have is probably to WrestleMania. I think he could hold it to WrestleMania right now on the Monday Night Raw roster. But then again, who knows what's going to happen once when this whole CM Punk, Drew McIntyre thing unfolds? What's going to happen with, Uncle Howdy? Maybe Uncle Howdy finds a way to challenge Gunther. That would be pretty cool. That would be kind of unprecedented because, be like, oh, Uncle Howdy playing mind games with Gunther. Gunther always walks around like this, with this, big chip on his shoulder, like he's the total, like he's the cheese. He's the best thing in the world since sliced bread. So, could possibly be, in the mist. But what could be in store for Randy Orton's last reign in WWE? I think he's going to have a match with Cena. I think he is. Maybe at Elimination Chamber. I think 1,010% that'd be a nice little, respect match. Nothing involved. Just, two guys kind of going at it. And then maybe one more heel turn. I can see, Randy Orton is, he's a slithery little snake, little sneaky little snake. He could turn heel in an instant. He's unpredictable, and that's the reason why people love Randy Orton. But then Gunther was like, "Oh, you are not predictable. You're a failure." And I don't know. It was kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how he kind of like, I don't know where he kind of I don't want to say embarrassed Randy. He kind of put him in his place. Not a lot of people could do that in terms of intimidating Randy Orton, but Gunther did a pretty good job. Or, kind of like what they were talking about in that interview. Maybe you could have a feud with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. That, Randy Orton taking on Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship, in the foreseeable future would be pretty badass. Maybe he's his next Bad Blood opponent, but he is getting a shot at Gunther's WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So I don't think he's gonna just hop onto another title match if he loses. So this could possibly be, a future for what Randy was talking about in that interview. He said, you know what, not gonna rush it. I'm still here for 5 years, so let's see where it takes me. I feel good, I feel healthy, 1,010%. Wish the best. Can't wait to see what happens with Randy Orton, the Legend Killer, moving forward because he's one of my favorite wrestlers. He's one of my wife's favorite wrestlers as well. Love that RKO out of nowhere. All right, guys, it is Tuesday. So every fifth segment on Tuesday, you guys jump in my wrestling DeLorean where I take you guys back in the future. No, not back to the future, back to the past on this day of August. Imagine if I could take you guys to the future. I think this show would get a hell of a lot more ratings. I'd be like, oh, Triple H is gonna come back and. I'm just kidding. No, but I think it would be pretty cool. But yeah, we're gonna talk about what happened on August 13th back in the past. So make sure you guys are ready to strap on your seat belts, grab a helmet. Where we're going. We don't need no roads. All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern. Talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, all the action inside and out, all the juicy drama backstage. Also, we talk about superstar news, rumors, updates, contract signings, from AEW to WWE to TNA to Ring of Honor to the MLW sometimes. Wish could cover more wrestling. Well, I think we need like a 6-hour show for that. The CMLL, also New Japan Professional Wrestling, also the NWA, Stardom. Don't get me wrong. Like, of course, if I was, if I got, compensated, be paid to watch wrestling, that'd be pretty badass. All right, guys. So I hope you guys are ready to take this journey with me. It is Tuesdays today in wrestling history. First and foremost, we have a couple birthdays today, which as soon as okay, there we go. Couple of birthdays, noticeable birthday today. We have Spike Lee. Spike Lee's birthday today. Also Chad Fortune and Jumping Jim Brunzel. Wow, that's an awesome last name. Damn. Makes Rodriguez sound like, like poopy. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into this Tuesdays Today in wrestling history. So the very first ECW Hardcore Heaven event took place in the ECW arena in Philadelphia. Terry Funk and Cactus Jack fought to a no contest in a main event after the tag team of Public Enemy interfered. This event saw one of the most iconic moments in 90s wrestling when the audience threw dozens of folding chairs into the ring, burying Public Enemy at the end of the show. That's pretty crazy. That's dangerous. and I think right now WWE personnel really kind of has it on lock. I've never really seen any bottles thrown or food or people coming out into the crowds. I think the last time I saw that was, oh my God, I forgot one. I think it was when it happened with Triple H, and Triple H had to tackle him or something like that. And it was just kind of, or I think somebody threw a water bottle at not, it wasn't Shinsuke Nakamura. Damn it. It wasn't Shinsuke. I think it actually hit him and kind of injured him. Kind of crazy. I think I remember, hearing that. But, kind of crazy, definitely as professional wrestlers, you already put your life on the line to entertain these animals. Well, I'm part of those animals. But I would never throw a folding chair, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Next in 2000, WCW presented their New Blood Rising pay-per-view rather than the usual Hog Wild August event. Every match on the card was contested under no disqualification rules, and included Kevin Nash defeating Goldberg and Scott Steiner in a triple threat match, and Booker T successfully defending his WCW World Heavyweight Championship against Jeff Jarrett in the main event. I like this concept of every rules casted. Obviously, right now that's probably never ever 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 going to happen because you got to kind of kind of keep these superstars healthy, and I'm not, I'm an attitude era guy, so I'm like, yeah, give them some chairs, let them hit them on the head sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. To prevent the CTE concussions, and you don't want people getting hurt because overall, that's people from your roster, from your wrestling roster. People buy tickets to watch them. If they find out those guys are going to be injured, guess what? No ticket sales. No ticket sales. You're not going to get paid. Your company's not going to get money. So you're just going to get bankrupt. But when they started doing like the themed pay-per-views, which I think on WWE's part was, kind of naive. Like you had Hell in a Cell where there was only one match that was a Hell in a Cell. Or you had or you had TLC where you only had two matches, tables, ladders, and chairs. Or there was another one where I was like, dude, why do we even have that? I do love the Money in the Bank theme one, but I do miss it. I do miss the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania. I gotta be honest there. I gotta be honest for that. Back when they used to have, well, they had Elimination Chamber. Now they have one for they have one for the men's and the women's. It would be freaking badass if they had one for the tag team Elimination Chamber matches. That would be pretty freaking cool for the number one contendership for either the WWE Tag Team Champions or the World Tag Team Champions would be pretty badass. So, definitely love the theme there. Obviously, I'm a little more dangerous than a lot of people. So, but I don't know. I thought that was, thought that was kind of cool. 2001, WWE Champion Stone Cold Steve Austin addresses the Alliance on the Go Home episode of Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam. Also, Rob Van Dam went one-on-one against Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist. Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Haire challenged The Undertaker and Kane for the WCW Tag Team titles in a steel cage match. And in the main event, Chris Jericho and The Rock took on Rhino and WCW Champion Booker T in a tag team match that foreshadowed two single matches booked for SummerSlam, where I think The Rock defeated Booker T for that championship. WCW 2001. I remember the invasion. I remember the alliance, and I remember it done pretty damn badly. Obviously back then I was like, all into WWE. I was like, yeah, that's what you get, WCW. Although I was a WCW fan as well, but I primarily watched WWF, and I was like, yeah, get that trash out of here. You know what I mean? We're the best wrestle my ass. Like, you know what I mean? World Championship Wrestling, we can't wrestle. I'm just kidding. No, I wasn't that bad because I did stay tuned to Monday Night Nitro and, Thursday Night Thunder. And I was like, make sure nobody's watching me. I was like, there's someone pops in. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? I wasn't watching that. I wasn't watching that crap. I'm just kidding. No, but it was, I thought it was a good product. I think as it kind of grown later on when, the whole Eric Bischoff and the whole Hogan thing. And then, I don't know. It just, I did kind of lose interest. And I didn't know that they were going to go bankrupt. And it kind of sucked because I felt like it would have been awesome to keep both brands. It would have been better for Vince McMahon to kind of have a deal under the table discreetly. Just imagine if WCW was never like if you never had Shane McMahon or if you never had Vince McMahon come out there and people just thinking WCW is still feuding with the WWE, but the WWE is getting all the profits from this feud. It kind of reminds me of the East Coast West Coast thing between like Tupac and Biggie and stuff like that. Who was making the most money during that? You know what I mean? Like you had two dudes lose their lives. Obviously, the people who made a lot of it was the media, it was people covering it. So I guess kind of a pretty messed up comparison there, but you guys get the gist of it. You guys get the gist of it. All right, back in 2005, CM Punk competed in his final match in Ring of Honor at the Final Chapter in Chicago, where he defeated Colt Cabana in a 2 out of 3 falls. On the undercard, you had Roderick Strong defeat Matt Hardy and Samoa Joe, and Jay Lethal defeated the Rottweilers by disqualification. And then in 2007, on Monday Night Raw, you saw Jerry Lawler reluctantly surrendered the crown to Booker T, and then that's when you saw the official King Booker come alive, where he was, had the pinky up and stuff like that. He was a good character, and he was also the world heavyweight champion at one time. I thought that was pretty cool. Booker T is one of the most prolific WWE WCW superstars that I've ever watched. I definitely think he's, he had a lot of balls staying with WWF/WWE because WCW superstars were just being, kind of trashed a little bit, and they were like jobbers, so to speak, because Vince McMahon was so adamant on just telling, who was the better brand. And, they had an interview with Eric Bischoff as well. And he was like, you know what? To be honest, if WCW would have bought out the WWF/WWE, I would have done the same thing. You know what I mean? So, I guess, going tit for tat on that one. But I don't know. It's just, gotta respect Booker T, King Booker, 1010% love, respect the man. And also, we saw in 2000 and I think 2018, 2012, you saw the contract signing Brock Lesnar in 2012. Brock Lesnar and Triple H signed a contract for WWE SummerSlam on Raw. Raw general manager AJ Lee teamed up with the WWE champion CM Punk and John Cena to take on Daniel Bryan and The Big Show. WWE Hall of Famer Rowdy Piper hosted a special edition of Piper's Pit featuring Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, Vicky Guerrero, and The Miz. So, that was a good 2012. I think that was when I started. I don't think I watched this SummerSlam. I don't think so, but I think I did. I think this was during the time where Brock Lesnar snapped Shawn Michaels' arm and Triple H to get retribution. He was like, "All right, now I'm going to take on you, Brock." But it turned out to be a pretty bad idea. But also on this day we lost a legend. We lost an amazing father, just an overall amazing human being, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. August 13th, 2018, we lost a legend. We lost a legend. So thoughts and prayers obviously still go out to their families and, and stuff like that. Definitely wish them all the best. Just know that your father made a huge impact on all of our lives. The wrestling industry, the wrestling universe will never, ever, 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 ever forget the legacy that Jim the Anvil Neidhart left behind. So, throwing flowers to an amazing man there. All right, so let's go. Guys, that was my show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. 1010%. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the GSMC Sports Network. Remember to follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And like I always said, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have a bunch of other shows. We got Nelson with basketball. We have football right around the corner. College football. We have the GSMC College Football Podcast with my boy Tommy. We have the NFL coming right around the corner. We got the Chip Shot Football Podcast with my man Manny. We got the GSMC Football Podcast with Kenneth. We also have fantasy sports coming along with the NFL. So find out your sit-ems, find out your over-unders, find out who you're going to draft, who you're going to start on week 1 of the NFL or even college football. I know some people play fantasy college football. I guess it's fun. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know why I can't really get into college football. I try to sit my butt on the couch when I do have a Saturday free. Usually I'm always working on Saturdays. But, you know, sometimes I sit my butt on the couch. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch this. Can't bother me. And then my daughter's like, let's play Roblox. And I'm like, all right. And then my son like, oh, wants to play blocks. And can we go outside? Can we go to the mall? Can we get ice cream? And I'm like, all right, you know, I guess I can't watch college football. I'm just kidding, you know. But yeah, I hear the GSMC Sports Network. We just got a lot of dogs here, guys. We have a lot of good, we have a lot of good dudes. A lot, you know, we have just a lot of amazing people here on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you know you hit that subscribe button. Guarantee you will never ever ever regret it. Give you the Eric Rodriguez guarantee. So once again, guys, hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday night. Sleep well. I will see you tomorrow on Wednesday. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.